I'm going to crack this beer, and it's an interesting beer this week because it is an O'Doul's non-alcoholic, because I'm not trying to get drunk before dinner. And also, I will say, having some sober friends and trying to make sure I have good options for people who are sober, I got these. They're not bad. Huh. I definitely drink them if I was like, I want a beer taste, but I don't want to get the beer buzz. Tastes like a full bush or full bud. A little bit sweeter though. They all kind of taste a little bit sweeter, but cheers.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the world's #1 wrestling podcast. Let me pod to you. Yeah.
Man, that came out loud. Welcome to Let Me Pod to You. I'm Jacob. You can block me on Twitter at WeHateJacob. I'm here with my co-host Demetri. You can find him on Twitter at Demetri Talks. Demetri, how'd you feel about the wrestling this week?
Seems like there's a lot going on. By your notes, it seems like more than one company is getting vinced, which is pretty frustrating and annoying. So it's a mixed bag for me. I got some things I like, some things I really dislike. That's how I'm feeling about it. How about yourself?
I've had a very mixed bag. I thought SmackDown was okay. Yeah. I didn't think it was, anything special. Austin Theory's still MIA. So still no him losing his title. Raw, I thought started incredibly slow. Like, I found the first hour to be almost unbearable. And then right at 9, it picked up and was almost pay-per-view level Raw after that. Forbidden Door was fine. I'll talk about a couple things with that because I caught the end of it. And Dynamite last night was kind of a disaster. So we'll get there too. But yeah, mixed bag, but coming off a pay-per-view for one company, going into a pay-per-view for another, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
And I'm getting word that there's no top of the mid this week.
There's no top of the mid, even though there really is a top of the mid. It's just, I feel really bad about just giving it to the same group every week. So I'm not going to mention her name, but we all know the little group that I really love who would be winning top of the mid if they had some, competition. It just feels like right now they're competing with themselves. So we're going to shy away from that.
I'll agree with you. I mean, to name the group you wouldn't name, it's the Alpha Academy. And they're
good.
Always getting a little segment on TV, whether it's backstage, whether they're doing a match, and they always make the most of the little time that they're given, which I think is really one of those kind of things that shows you being top of the mid material. When you're given 1 minute in a backstage and all 3 members of the group nail it. Chad in his little coach outfit again, Maxine in her wrestling outfit. Wow. And Otis on the bike, and he stops and he goes, "I know what we're doing, coach. We're going to bring the carnage and destruction." It's all really good. So yeah, I agree with you that there's no real competition there.
Yeah. It's all them, man. They're just killing it. I wanted to mention this. Did you see the origin story of LA Knight's? Yeah, because I saw that recently. Did you happen to catch that?
Nah.
Okay, well, it's pretty interesting actually. It's very organic, I guess you could say. Okay. He was on. I always butcher this guy's name, but have you seen the YouTuber? Not only a YouTuber, but he posts interviews on YouTube. It's Chris Van Vliet. I
think it's Van Vliet.
All right, Chris Van Vliet. There we go. Had a interview with LA Knight, and he asked him about where it came from, and LA Knight kind of started the story. So back in the day, I think he said 2013, he was at the Performance Center for the first time, and he said, when somebody was sitting there kind of teaching him, showing him the ropes, telling him what to do, kind of going through stuff, LA Knight would always be when you listen to somebody, you're just yeah, just to acknowledge. Well, his thing was always yeah. And he would just say that, just not really thinking about it. And then apparently the instructor or teacher or whatever, kind of caught on to it and started making fun of him a little bit and like pointed it out. So then like people in the locker room just started doing it right back at him like, yeah, which was funny. And then he started doing this thing where he's like, everybody. And then everybody else would shout, everybody. And like, he just kind of had these like little things like backstage. It wasn't even on like any of the programs, just backstage. Everybody would repeat it. And to quote LA Knight, he said he didn't like to repeat what they said right back because, it gave him the douche chills, which gave the interviewer a laugh. He's like, douche chills. So, people would say everybody, he'd go, yeah. And then that kind of was a little thing. And then, he left, went to, Impact. And this is where things, heated up a little bit. So he's in Impact, and I think there was some sort of gimmick with like a dummy button or something. You'd hit the button and it would say like, dummy, essentially. And, he had to record a bunch of takes. So he's sitting there saying dummy like a billion different times, different ways. So he's like, dummy, 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 dummy. And then one of the takes he said, dummy, yeah. And that one stuck. So every time he would hit this button, he would say, dummy, yeah. And then it just kind of evolved over time, and they dropped the dummy, and then yeah just stuck. And that's the story of yeah. And it's just so random and funny that like it started from this little backstage thing and moved all the way progressing to something what it is now, where we all say it. Just had to throw that in here since we're a podcast inspired by the one and only LA Knight.
That is sensational. No, I did not know that. Mm-hmm. I also didn't know that he was in Impact for this long. I'm on his Wikipedia page now.
Yeah, it's interesting,
I
right?
really did not know that. He was the world champion in Impact.
Yeah, I was not familiar with this game. I mean, I didn't watch Impact, so...
No, I mean, who does?
I was not familiar.
But he had like a big feud with Johnny Impact, John Morrison.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's back on AEW. And he was on AEW like last
Johnny
year.
TV.
No, last year he was Johnny Elite.
Oh,
and now he's Johnny TV.
Yep.
And apparently he did like a tour in Australia with an indie circuit where he was Johnny Down Under, specifically Down Under.
I love it. I love him, man.
Yeah, I'm glad he's back. He's box office.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. I really didn't know that he did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good story. Chris Van Vliet, if I'm saying his name right, always gives good interviews. I love watching his YouTube channel. So good.
I'm going to make a note of that so that I can find it and put it in the show notes.
Yeah, buddy. Good call. And then let's see. Okay. I'm going to jump into that later. I also wanted to add here one more thing, that I didn't actually add to the notes. Just wanted to let people know that we will be making some YouTube content. Specifically some probably 5 to 10 minute videos, just discussing different things. I'm starting on it now, just stuff I'm interested in. I think I'm working on a script right now about, Bray Wyatt. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, they're just going to start posting those, shortly soon. And, yeah, just look out for those.
More content, people.
More content, baby.
That's right. You can find us on YouTube at Let Me Pod to You, like you can everywhere.
Yeah, buddy.
That's awesome. No, that's great. Thank you for bringing that interview to my attention. Didn't know it was there. I'm going to try to track that down. My headline this week was Forbidden Door. I will admit I was not home for all of it. We were out with some friends. I got home right during the entrance for Will Ospreay for the Will Ospreay Omega IWGP United States Championship match. And there was a lot of people last year that, or earlier this year, actually, I think it was, that claimed that the Omega Ospreay was their match of the year candidate. And now those same people have turned that this is now their match of the year candidate. This should have been the main event because it felt very grudge match. It was so intense. And then between this match, they had the Jericho and his adopted son and Sting and his adopted son have their little trios match that was too many old men that just felt like a big deflation from where the crowd was. And they wanted to give it some room to breathe before Danielson Okada, which was the main event. But still, I think that I think Omega Ospreay should have been the main event because this match was wild. Like you end the show on that, the crowd is going home like, you know, and it would have left everybody really well. My biggest critique of this match, because like the false finishes were excellent, the kickouts were amazing. Ospreay hit Kenny with a screwdriver, then did his hidden blade finisher, and then did the whatever his other finisher. Like he hit all three, like gimmick finisher and 2 main finishers. And Kenny on late to like 2.999 got his foot on the rope to break the count. Like it was insane. But after that, Ospreay hits Kenny with what they called a Tiger Driver 91, which was like a pile driver style move where Kenny's neck just goes, and I thought I watched a man die on my screen. Ridiculous. Fucking hated that. I was disgusted. I remember going like, oh, and like I'd already told Zoe like, don't look at my screen. There's blood. Like I know you don't want to see this, but that Tiger Driver 91 was awful and has no place in modern wrestling.
Yep. So this is where I was going to jump in. I have like a mixed feeling about this. So like, I don't like my wrestling, like what I'm interested in. I don't need wrestlers to do that, like at all. Like it does nothing for me other than make me feel a little like uncomfortable. I feel like if the performers are comfortable with it and it's something they want to do, fine. But like as a viewer, like it does, like I don't care for it. Like I would rather you not, to be honest. I would rather just stay away from the dangerous stuff. I'd rather you have a long career. And where I wanted to go with this is I saw a wrestler recently. I don't remember who it was. It might have been Bryan Danielson, maybe, who was saying that essentially somebody asked him if they need to keep pushing the envelope. And I don't remember exactly who it was. It might have been Bryan Danielson, it might have been somebody else. But essentially they said, yeah, we need to keep pushing the envelope because it's what people want to see. I disagree. I don't think you have to push the envelope like that. I don't think so at all. I think, like, if you're good at your craft, people are going to care about it. Like, when I think about wrestlers who have stood the test of time, a lot of them have never even put their bodies on the line like that. Like, Roman Reigns is not putting his body on the line. John Cena was not putting his body on the line. Triple H was not putting his body on the line. Undertaker did a couple times. But for the most part, he's not putting his body on the line every week. Like, there's points where maybe they do something that's a little risky, but it's not like an every week thing, and it's nothing that like you look at and you're like, damn, that's crazy. Other than Undertaker's flip outside the ring at that one WrestleMania, I think against Shawn Michaels or something. But yeah, I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think you have to push the envelope that far every week for people to tune in. Just be good at what you do, and we're gonna like it. I mean, me personally, that's how I feel.
I think there's different ways that you can push the envelope, though.
Yes.
And I think this match did that before the Tiger Driver 91. Like in the first match at the New Japan event where Kenny won the belt off Ospreay, there was this whole thing where Kenny smashed Ospreay's head until it was all the way through a table. And then he dropped Ospreay down and then looked through it, like through the hole in the table, like a crazed person. So like the first match, like Kenny Ospreay won, was Kenny basically just kicking the shit out of Ospreay the entire time. Omega Ospreay 2 at Forbidden Door kind of flipped that. And it was Ospreay coming back with a vengeance, with a grudge, with, okay, you were going to be that violent to me, I'm going to be that violent to you. And they had some spots, like Ospreay drove Kenny's head through the announce desk like multiple times in like the way that, you know, wrestlers do, like that he had his arm like bouncing. But then there was also, they brought out the screwdriver, which is a callback to what Don Callis hitting Kenny with the screwdriver in the head when Callis turned on Kenny. So there's a callback there, like, and it pushes it further, like, oh, Ospreay is going that far, like he's going to not just hurt Kenny physically but emotionally. Like, that's going to bring back everything. And like, I don't know, the spots in this match were already nuts. Like they were doing some crazy shit already that like it just wasn't necessary. Like you want to pull out a pile driver. Like I'm kind of used to that, at least from an AEW perspective. Like it's a move that's allowed there. Like and they do it in as safe a way that you can. Like you don't like their skull isn't going into the mat.
Right.
But like that where it is neck first, I just don't want to see that. Like I don't want to see my favorite wrestlers potentially have a career-ending injury on my screen. Like I have no appetite for that at all.
That's facts. And yeah, you showed me the video and I clicked on it. The first time I watched it, I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Because the first time I watched it fast and it looked like maybe like he braced his fall a little bit with his feet. Then I slowed that shit down and saw like literally just head first. And I was like, oh no, that was...
Yeah, I sent you one that was like a fan video from the arena. It looked worse on the hard cam. Like it looked a lot worse on like the broadcast, but I couldn't find one that was super clear and big. So yeah, that was really rough. And then Danielson beat Okada in the main event. This is pretty much why Danielson left WWE, so that he could wrestle the best people in the world that are from other promotions.
Yep, he loves the old wrestling.
He does, and he has said in interviews, like, I left WWE so that I can wrestle Okada. And it didn't work out last year because one of them was hurt. And this year that comes around, Danielson was getting patched up from a couple injuries, so he was taking it easy leading into it. And then I guess with about 10 minutes to go in the match, Danielson broke his arm. And have you seen the picture of his x-ray?
Mm-mm.
It is a full snap of like the bone right here.
Gross.
Like, it's like completely over. And so he's like going through the rest of this match, like babying this arm. And Okada hit his finisher, the Rainmaker, where it's like a ripcord lariat. So he gets behind the person and then pulls their arm to spin them, and then he lariats them.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
He pulled on the broken arm to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then Danielson beat him by submission and had to pull his right leg up like over to where his arm would be to hold Okada's arm back, where normally it would just be an arm-on-arm hold to like get the submission to work. Yeah. And Danielson seemed like he was in good spirits afterwards. Like in the press conference, he's like, yep, so they're telling me I probably broke my arm, so that sucks. I was going to be wrestling on Wednesday, but I'm not anymore, which maybe there's another reason why there were so many changes to the card. But yeah, I mean, he also did this other thing about halfway through that I really, again, don't like. They play up Danielson's concussions massively in like all of his big matches, where Danielson's like laying on the mat, like convulsing basically. And the doctor even jumps into the ring, and then Okada's like, nah, and pushes him out. And then like, they're like, Danielson baited him in. And it's like, can we not? Like, again, like, I don't want to watch things that make it seem like someone's like critically injured. Yeah. Like, that's not entertaining to me. That is not sports entertainment. That is not even wrestling, in my opinion.
Right.
So other than that, though, it seemed like everyone had a good time. You know, Twitter, kept keeping up with things on Twitter during it. Seemed good. CM Punk took an elbow drop to the nads, which the guy tweeted an apology that was very funny afterwards. CM Punk also was booed a bit, played the heel a lot, did a whole like Hulk Hogan style like hand to the ear, and then hit like a very slow off the ropes Hogan-esque leg drop. So I think we're gonna start turning up the dial of the CM Punk heelness. Jungle Boy turned heel. His promo on Dynamite was one of the worst things ever. It was like, what does a heel say? And it was basically twinning with Christian.
I saw him dive into an SUV though. That shit was smooth.
That was hilarious. He's talking mad shit about Hook. He's like, and Hook, next time I see you, I'm gonna wring your neck. And then like Hook's music hits and he's like, Hook! And then he bolted out of the ring, jumped the barricade. Hook's chasing him like through the arena, and then like cuts the camera backstage, and Jack's like, and then dives. He's like, start the car, and then dives headfirst into the back of the car, and then takes off. so funny.
I just gotta say, dude, that dive in the car, he was running
was
really
smooth,
fucking
though.
And
He had to like hit that other door.
Yeah, I was like, I watched it back a few times, like, damn, the technique involved here. That shit was funny though.
That was pretty good. Well, let's move on to the segment that everybody's looking for, the Bloodline Cinematic Universe.
Oh yeah.
The Usos interrupted Solo on Friday. And Solo was in a bad mood. He thumbed Ridge Holland, and then, I'm not in the mood tonight. And Paul Heyman, call Roman Reigns.
Call Roman Reigns.
He seemed like, oh God. Well, Money in the Bank this weekend, Roman and Solo versus the Usos. And looks like you've got some theories on what you think might happen.
Yeah, this week we've got on SummerSlam. Oh, wait, no, SummerSlam.
Is it SummerSlam this weekend?
No, not
already?
quite.
We got Money in the Bank.
You should be doing a British accent. It's in England. It's not NASCAR.
We've got Money in the Bank here. I'll got a couple of theories here. I don't know if it's a good accent, but we're going to roll with it. I've got three theories here. We're going to go back to normal right about now. And I got three theories here. 3 ways this can go in my eyes. And if it goes one of these ways, I'm going to go on Twitter and be like, I fucking told you so. So I see the story going 3 ways. 1, Usos win, right? And obviously if the Usos win, cracks begin to form between Solo and Roman, or the cracks are already there, seem to spread a little bit. There's a little bit of cracks there. Or Bloodline wins, and then the Usos, they did just join together, but then the Usos get some cracks. There's some tension between Jay and Jimmy, and they have to work through that tension, and they eventually get a rematch at SummerSlam. Or, third option, Bloodline gets somebody else in their pockets, again, how they seem to do. I don't know how much money they're paying all these people or all these opportunities that they're giving these people, or they get somebody else in their pockets and, they do their thing and they get the W the dirty way, how they seem to typically do. Those are the way I see these going. If you were to ask me to choose one, I'd say the Bloodline wins, and the cracks form between the Usos. That's the one I'm going to go with, that I'm going to say is going to happen.
I'm going to disagree.
All right. Beautiful.
I think that the Usos are going to win. And I think specifically we're going to get some like tandem super kicks on Roman. Something's going to happen where Solo can't get in to make a save. And I think Jay is going to pin Roman.
Ooh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
And my reason why is I think this is going to SummerSlam, and we're going to have a main event, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And I think that's the way that Jay is going to argue that he gets that shot. Because if he pins Roman, he said, yeah, I did it with my brother, but I can do it myself. And then the numbers game ends up even too. Because Roman's still going to bring Solo out, and Jay's going to bring Jimmy out. So the numbers game is even, unless, like you said, the Bloodline enlists somebody else to help with some dirty work.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going. I think it's going to be the first time Roman gets pinned in 3 years.
I'm very excited to see what happens. Obviously, as always, this is what I'm most excited about for every pay-per-view. Also, speaking of this pay-per-view, I completely missed and forgot that it was at 3:00 in the middle of the day.
Special start time.
I completely forgot. So got to flip my plans around and probably make some food early and have a good grand old time.
What are you doing food-wise?
I was thinking about doing like a nice southern meal. Gonna get some fried chicken, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and maybe some, there was something else I was gonna get on there. Some corn on the cob.
Nice.
How about you?
I'm doing meatballs.
Meatballs, balls of meat.
Meatball subs.
I do love balls of meat.
I might just end up doing some beans on toast for breakfast, though, to just really start the British blood pumping.
That's disgusting. Beans on toast?
You don't know this? It's a British thing.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and it's not like our beans, like baked beans where it's like barbecue sauce. It's like just beans, like kidney beans in like tomato juice, basically. And they just put that shit on toast.
That's awful. I'm sorry, guys.
The blandest people in the world.
Awful. That sounds awful. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, Demetri, keep in mind, these are the same people that it's like 80 degrees there right now, and they're like, it's so hot. It's so hot here. I'm like, pal, it's been 80 degrees for the past week. Like, you don't even have smoke from Canada coming in your house right now. Like,
get on our level, bro. We got smoke from Canada.
The Pennsylvania Department of Health is saying that being outside for 8 hours is the equivalent of smoking 2 cigarettes. Like, you don't know pain. You don't know pain, UK. You guys are soft.
Damn, going in on the UK. I didn't know this was going to be a UK hate episode. Shit. God damn. Sorry, folks.
I wouldn't be doing this if they had stayed in Europe, because at least they could have had some culture at that point. But
Jesus,
we're gonna get so much hate. Anyway, whose stock's going up?
Let's see. Okay, so I got essentially the entire bloodline. We mentioned this.
Not the bloodline.
Oh shit! Not the bloodline. The other faction. Sorry, guys. The entire Judgment Day. The entire Judgment Day. I say that because a couple weeks back we had mentioned it. We talked about how the Judgment Day is just doing pretty solid. Everybody, Dom's got a solid place in the scene. He's pretty close to the main event scene at this point. Rhea's doing a great job, obviously. And, the only person we had a question about really was Finn, who is getting a really cool title shot at Money in the Bank. So it seems that all the members of the Judgment Day are getting a solid push, getting like a solid story or around or near the main event scene, which is something I wouldn't have thought when the group first joined together and when Edge was first leading the group. I didn't think that it was going to come anywhere near this. And I honestly thought it was going to be Edge's group for like a while, if anything. And as soon as Edge left, I kind of was like, all right, well, how long is this going to last, right?
As soon as Edge was gone, I thought they were going to be done within a month.
Exactly. So those are my exact thoughts. And, man, they have just built and built and built on shit. Dom being an addition was obviously great. I think Dom being an addition is huge for them. Just adds like another element. But everybody has evolved. What's his face? The
Priest.
Infamy fella, Priest. As I think Priest and Dom, more than anybody, have just made so much like progress. Like Priest was awful to watch a while ago. I did not like his character at all. It was just like cringy. So yeah, like we said, we've mentioned it before, but I just think the whole group as a whole, big stock rising for them. They're just all around the main event scene. I'm happy to see it for them.
Yeah, the only one that I'd be a little bit critical of right now might be Rhea, because I think they made her too strong.
She's so strong.
Like, she's so strong that she's beating people before the bell.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a match on this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they're going to have to figure something out, man.
Yeah, like, what was the last one was Backlash, right? Or no, it was Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Did she have a match in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, she fought Natalia, didn't she?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was
short.
done in a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then before that was Backlash with Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
That was again, like, Zelina got a little bit of offense in, but not very much. So, like, since Rhea put on that, I would call it a 5-star match with Charlotte at WrestleMania, she hasn't had a real contender. And I think her storyline might be struggling just a little bit from that. She's becoming a little bit sidekick to Dom.
Yeah.
It's kind of been more of Dom's story, which is fine. It's fine. But Rhea at some point needs to have a contender for this, which I think maybe that will come after the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because
I think so.
I think whoever wins that Money in the Bank is going to be looking to cash in on Rhea. Mm-hmm. Find a time when she's weak and try to cash in on her at that point. So I would like to see a little bit more come from there. Have her have a legitimate feud with somebody who can challenge her and push her. But unfortunately, a lot of the other kind of women's main event stars on Raw right now are tied up with other matters.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, Dom has come so far.
Oh,
I mean,
my God, bro.
even just as a wrestler.
Yeah, crazy.
And he's funny. He's a good heel. Like on Raw this week, he's like, goes to Adam Pearce. He's like, I want to prove myself ahead of this match with Cody Rhodes. I want someone who's as big and as strong as me. And it like, I was watching this with Ed and he went, it's going to be Tozawa. And I was like, that would be so funny. And then Tozawa's music hits. I was like, that's so fucking good.
That's really good.
But yeah, let's talk Dom. Let's talk Dom and Cody. What do we think is going to happen?
Man, I think I don't think Dom's going to win this match. I think Cody wins the match. I think Dom's going to try some slimy heel stuff. Obviously, I think Rhea will be ringside. Something's going to happen. Maybe Rhea hits Cody with something. But at the end of the day, I think Cody is going to get this W. He's been taking some L's here and there. You know, he had those matches with Brock Lesnar, took some lumps, you know, had to come back down to earth after the match with Roman. I think now is the time when he starts to get some momentum and, you know, turn things up a little bit. So I got Cody winning the match. How about you?
Yeah, I think so too. I think at some point, Rhea's going to jump in and have a cheap shot on Cody like Dom has been having. Or Dom is going to hit Cody with a big old punch to the yam-bags. And I think there's going to be something like that's going to happen, but I think Cody in the end is going to win. He beat Damian Priest in a really good match on Raw this week too. And like that just shows kind of Cody Rhodes is still at the top of the food chain in terms of how good he is, how good WWE is making him without being in the main event picture. So I definitely think Cody's going to win, but I think it's going to be a really fun match.
Yeah, agreed. They're both great.
It would be really funny if Cody adjusts his music too, so it goes, instead of just like, there's more than one royal family, it goes, there's more than one royal family in it.
There's more than one royal family in it.
And the other member of the Judgment Day with a match at Money in the Bank is Finn Balor. His video package they had on Raw was intense, and it kind of made me like, there's a lot of real passion behind that. Like,
yeah.
His career kind of got screwed after that injury.
Yeah.
Like, he became I was going to say a jobber, and that's unfair. But, like, he's held the mid-card belts, but both of them were for, like, a month or something. Like,
he really hasn't
short title reigns.
Yeah.
And getting into the Judgment Day has done a lot more for him than I thought.
I would definitely agree with that.
Well, I still don't see there being a title change here, though. I think Seth Rollins is going to retain.
Yeah, I think Seth Rollins is going to retain as well. But one thought did give me pause. I was just thinking about how interesting it could be if they did make Finn win. If Finn won this title, obviously it would legitimize him immediately as, one of the top people of Raw. Also, not just Raw, but inside of the Judgment Day. That could be an interesting dynamic, as there are already like cracks showing. We could have like some sort of Judgment Day falling out there, or at least between Finn and them, which could lead to him having like his final like singles pushed, like finally like a singles top of the card champion push. Meanwhile, he's feuding with his old squad, the Judgment Day. I just think that would be an interesting storyline, kind of similar to Bloodline Civil War, just warring between his old gang. I just think that would be an interesting story to follow. But as interesting as that sounds, I don't see them having Seth lose the title this early on into his reign. We know Papa Triple H loves those long title reigns.
Well, he loves Seth Rollins too.
And he loves Seth Rollins. That's the next thing I was going to say. He loves long title reigns and he loves Seth Rollins. We got both of them in the picture right now. So I don't think that this is going to... I think those two together means that Finn ain't going to beat him here at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I'm with you. I I think that's a good shout. Do you want to do the men's Money in the Bank now? We don't have it anywhere else. Yeah, let's do that. So the men's Money in the Bank ladder match is L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura, Rick O'Shea, Butch, Santos Escobar, Damian Priest, and Logan Paul. What I have read on the rumors, and please let me know if you've seen anything different, is that it seems to be they've got it narrowed down to 3 on who are kind of the favorites in the writers' rooms. L.A. Knight, Damian Priest, and Logan Paul.
Yep.
Triple H seems to be not into the Logan Paul idea.
Classic Triple H.
The other thing that I've seen written about, and I don't remember where, about if Logan Paul were to win, he's already had a feud with Seth Rollins. They can work together. And that could be interesting to kind of see that run it back. I'm less interested in that, but I can see the thought process. I don't think Logan Paul should get the briefcase, though.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I saw the Logan Paul stuff and I was just like, in my mind, I was like, please no, not that Logan Paul's not good at this. He's actually very surprisingly good at this.
I don't like him as a person at all, but he can fucking go. He can go better than some of the people that are full-timers.
Yeah, he's fucking good. Promo work and in the ring. So, yeah, I just didn't want him to win just because he really is a total complete part-timer. He's going to be here for a little bit, work. If he were to win, he'd probably stay till SummerSlam, then bounce for a while. You know what I mean? That type of deal.
Well, he said on his podcast recently, he's like, I'm really lucky. I get to come and do this 4 times a year on the backs of these guys that are doing this week in, week out. And I know for some of them that's probably frustrating, but I try to tell them every time I'm there that I appreciate the work they do to let me have my opportunities. So, okay. Fair enough. The other one is LA Knight, of course, because he's so over with the fans. I think it would be really interesting to have LA Knight with the briefcase. I think it would be something to give him a talking segment every week on both shows.
So good.
What's he going to do with it? The other LA Knight thing that I've seen is that Logan Paul or LA Knight stops each other from getting the briefcase when they're about to get it. And that leads to an LA Knight Logan Paul feud going to SummerSlam for a SummerSlam match. I'd be into that too.
That'd be entertaining. I would like that.
Especially after the promo that LA Knight cut on Logan Paul. This guy calls himself a megastar, but he's a megastar to 14-year-old girls on YouTube. I'm a real megastar. Yeah. So that would be really interesting. And I think LA Knight and Logan Paul would probably put on a really good match at SummerSlam too if they were to do that. And it would be a very good time if they did that to turn LA Knight face. Officially make him a face because they're still trying to do this LA Knight's a heel, but he's so over with the crowd. No one's going to boo him. Everyone's going to boo Logan Paul, so it would work really well to make that as his transition to a face.
I love that. I actually love that idea. Absolutely love that.
And so I'm kind of feeling that too. And then we come back to Damian Priest. And I think Damian Priest, it would be another good thing to have him with that briefcase. I think they've made him look strong enough that he could realistically try to cash in on Roman. He wouldn't get it, but he could do it. Or Seth Rollins.
Oh, this is what I wanted to add. I forgot to mention this earlier when I was talking about Finn and his match. When I was talking about Civil War, I was thinking, if he did win this match, and got the title, what if Damian Priest then wins the briefcase? And Damian Priest and Finn have been feuding a little bit. And then what if Damian Priest is like, you know what? I'm going to cash in my briefcase on my boy Finn and take that title away from his bitch ass.
Or what if they do it all in the same night? You put the World Heavyweight Championship late and you open with the men's Money in the Bank. Last year, Money in the Bank, as soon as Liv Morgan won that briefcase in the opening match, I knew for a fact, 100%, that she was cashing in later that night. I knew it. And I had a thought too. I am not into same night cash-ins unless it's a new title. If Damian Priest wins it, Finn Balor wins the belt, and then Damian Priest cashes in and wins it off Finn.
Oh my God.
That would be nuts.
Yeah, they would be feuding heavy too. Oh my God. Dude, you are fantasy booker of the year right here.
I can't make any decisions, though.
This guy's incredible.
Do you want to hear some more theories about the men's Money in the Bank?
Please, yes.
Okay. The other one that I saw is with Santos Escobar. Not him winning, because a lot of the things I've read, I don't think he's ready for it either, but him getting this kind of getting elevated via Money in the Bank and starting to think, you know what? Rey Mysterio, you've been in this, heading up this LWO since WrestleMania. Where's it gotten us? It got me in this match, but I haven't had a title shot. I haven't had a title shot anywhere. What's the point? And starting to lead towards a small feud of Santos Escobar turning heel and fighting Rey Mysterio for control of the LWO going into WrestleMania next year. Because on NXT, Santos Escobar was more known as a heel than he was a face. So I think that could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And to be honest, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ricochet, and Butch, they're filling in. They're just
I got no thoughts of them winning the match. None.
I really think that no matter who wins this belt this time around, though, based on kind of the three that we've been talking about as our main contenders, I think they're all going to go for a big belt. I don't think we're going to have this mid-card cash-in that we
I hope
before.
not. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
All right. Two-part question. Who do you want to win, and who do you think will win?
That's tough because you just gave me that really nice idea of LA
right?
Knight and Logan Paul. I went into this thinking I wanted LA Knight to win, but after literally during this podcast episode, my mind has changed. I really like the idea of LA Knight and Logan Paul having a program, and I really like the idea of Damian Priest and Finn feuding in the I almost want to call them the Bloodline every time. Why do I do that? The Judgment Day. So I'm going to say I think I want Damian Priest to win, but I think LA Knight's going to win.
Even with like the appeal of an LA Knight Logan Paul program to SummerSlam, I still want LA Knight to win, but I think Damian Priest will win.
Wow, we are literally flip-flopped. That's hilarious. Well, one of the two will be good.
Yeah, either way, I mean, one of us is going to... No matter what I think they do, if it's one of those three, however that kind of shakes out, I think it's going to be a good Money in the Bank.
Yeah, for sure.
And everyone's really, really spry in this match, too. Like, I was looking at... I think last year's card had Omos in it. Like, they kind of went for, like, some beefy boys in last year's Money in the Bank, and I didn't love that. Like, it just felt slow.
Like it's a ladder match, dog. We need some...
Yeah. We need some nonsense. And, like, these guys can all climb a ladder real fast. So, I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Facts.
All right, where we at? Oh, you want to talk about some returning lady?
Yes. So, my stocks are rising for sure on Liv and Raquel. For the longest time, I kind of felt like... meh about them. I thought they were good, but meh. But I don't know if it was just them being gone or the current tag team situation we're dealing with Ronda Rousey. But I've never been so excited to see Liv come back. Like I was actually really excited. Her music hit, the crowd seemed into it, and I was legitimately like, yes! I felt good to see it. It made me realize how much I had missed Liv being on the screen and their tag team. So that being said, it kind of got me thinking, maybe this whole, Ronda and Shayna winning the titles was just like a temporary deal. Cause like maybe they're just going to lose these titles. And maybe like they didn't have, cause in my mind, I'm like, maybe they didn't have any plans for them, but like they were like the perfect team to just kind of throw in there for a little bit to have them run with the titles while there was an injury and then have them get the titles back at this pay-per-view. So I don't know if there's any truth to that. I was just thinking it through and I was like, that would actually make some sense if they didn't have any plans for them and they kind of were like, all right, you want a title opportunity? Here's your title opportunity. Run with it. We'll see how the fans go. If the fans are about it, Liv and Raquel will just pick it back up at the next pay-per-view.
And I think, I don't know, just maybe it's just the way that they've been booked lately, or kind of since the inception. I don't think that the WWE writers / Triple H really understand us, the WWE Universe's feelings towards Ronda and Shayna, because I think that they believe that they're getting heat. They're not getting heat. We just don't like them. It's not compelling.
Hey, let me be fair. I like Shayna.
Yeah, Shayna's fine. She's fine. I have no beef with Shayna. But Ronda Rousey can't sell, can't talk, can't do anything but an armbar.
Yep.
Like, that's all she has is an armbar. And it's boring. It's boring. Like, Ronda Rousey is the Austin Theory of the women's division.
Oh, yes. Great soundbite.
It's an expected outcome every time she has a match.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so bored of it. Like, can Liv cement herself as the Ronda Rousey kryptonite? That's somewhat interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I really hope Liv and Raquel win. I don't think they will, because I think they're going to keep the women's tag belts on Ronda and Shayna. And one more step further, I don't understand why they combine the main roster tag team belts with the NXT belts. I don't get it at all. Like, this makes no sense to me.
Yeah, initially I had thought maybe to debut a new belt design, maybe. And also the only other idea that runs through my mind is, like, I don't know what the tag team division is like in NXT. I mean, I know a few, but I don't know if they have very many tag teams anymore.
Well, they just brought up the best two to the main roster.
So maybe they're just severely lacking in tag teams in NXT, and they were just like
the main roster is too.
They're like, all right, we're going to send all of our tag teams to one show and have the belts there instead of spreading these tag teams thin. Maybe. But yeah, I don't know. It seemed weird to me, honestly, as well.
Yeah, I really don't have any more time for Ronda Rousey. And like, she keeps doing these interviews too. Have you seen these where she's like talking about how she pitched this heel run with Shayna Baszler to creative, and they were like, okay. And she's like, I want to show a different side of the way that we can dominate the women's division. And I'm like, whatever.
I haven't seen anything different. I haven't seen anything.
No, it's the same shit. Like, that's the thing. And it's the same different crowd reaction. Her music hits and they're like, like, it's not even a boo, it's a groan.
Yeah.
And that should tell them something.
Yeah. Especially with such a good theme song.
Anyway, your pick for this? What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, I think Liv and Raquel are going to win, man.
You do?
I do, yeah. I think they're going to win the titles back. I really think it's a temporary run for Shayna.
I think Ronda and Shayna are going to retain, unfortunately.
Boo.
All right. I'm very excited, though, for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yes.
Because I think they've, kind of like we talked about, how there isn't really a lot going on for Rhea, and then also Asuka has her own little thing. A lot of the main roster talent is just in this ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Becky Lynch, Zelina Vega, Bayley, Io Sky, Trish Stratus, and Zoe Stark. So we've got...
It's really good.
Bayley and Io, who are together, but Io's not feeling Bayley. Trish and her protege, Zoe Stark, and then Zelina Vega with her chancla, and Becky Lynch, who is just wanting to fight people.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the women's summit that they did on Raw, where everyone's like, Bayley got to go full Bayley too. Like, you idiot! Like,
yeah, I love that.
Like full villain Bayley. And then Becky's literally just like hand on head, until like a fight broke out. Understandably. I don't have really any idea where I think this one's going to go. I've seen lots of stuff that Io Sky is the favorite to win.
Oh, really? I haven't seen anything, but that's my pick. Io Sky is my pick, just based on how I feel about the match.
I think I want Bayley or Io Sky to win.
Yeah, that's literally where I'm at. Literally exactly the same. I'm cool with Bailey or Io Sky. I mean, I'm really cool with any. Actually, I'd be cool with Bailey, Io, or Becky Lynch. I don't really. Zelina Vega, I don't take seriously. Trish Stratus. I
think she's there to mess with Becky more than anything.
Yeah.
And Zoe Stark, I think she's too green.
Yep.
The only thing I guess I'd go back to Becky Lynch on is they had that backstage segment of her and Rhea, and Becky flamed her. Like, I was like, ooh,
if anybody,
a lot of ointment.
If anybody's going to be a match for Rhea, like star power wise, and give her like a good match and be somebody who's a legitimate rival, in this match, it would be Becky Lynch.
But Becky Lynch could easily cash in on Rhea and steal her title. Not less of a like, we're going to schedule this match for SummerSlam, but yeah, let's say. Let me start over. I think we're getting closer to the Becky Lynch Trish Stratus blow-off match. And I think what we're going to get out of that is a women's Hell in a Cell. I think that might come at SummerSlam. That way, Becky has Trish all to herself. Because Trish has been playing lots of games to stay one step ahead of Becky. But if she's in a steel cage, those games kind of go away.
Yeah.
So I think that could be coming. And that could keep, Becky occupied at least a little while with the briefcase if she gets it. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Io Sky as well though. She's my pick. I think that's who is gonna win.
I like Io Sky. She's got a lot of momentum and she's always fun to watch in the ring. We never know exactly what she says because we don't speak Japanese, but when she be talking, it sounds very convincing. Should I say?
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm just like, I like it, man. It's just entertaining to me. So yeah, I got Io winning. And I think it would be good, one, for Io to build her star power. And two, I think it's also would be a good thing for Bailey if Io won, because finally, we've been getting those cracks between the two. I think if Io wins and is successful, they'll further drive that storyline and be some jealousy between, Bailey and Io. Maybe we'll finally get a feud between those two, which I think would be great for Bailey to finally have like a legitimate feud on the roster, because it feels like she's just been playing like sidekick to this group and she hasn't really had like a place with like a solid like storyline with her since she came back. And I love Bailey. I'm a big Bailey fan. So, it'd just be great to see her get involved in like another good story again. So I just think Io Sky winning this would be a home run and be a great thing for all parties involved.
Especially if Io denies Bailey the briefcase.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to end up every woman for themselves. But if Io actively denies Bailey getting the briefcase, that's the groundwork for that feud.
Io's going to moonsault off the goddamn ladder this match. Bet on it. And her moonsaults are crazy because she don't even, like, when she flips, she don't even, like, look back, which blows my mind. She just goes straight. She's like, yeah, I'm going to fucking do this, bitch. And then flips. And I'm like, damn. How, Sway?
She's great. She's really great. All right. We got to accelerate here. Stocks
acceleration.
Who are you hating on?
Who am I hating on? Oh, okay. This one can be quick. I could not care less about Riddle. Riddle is really, we talk about it a lot. Riddle's just boring. His humor doesn't hit with me the same. And it's kind of similar to back what we talked about before. It's just not the same without Randy Orton there to kind of balance out what he does. It just kind of feels like uncomfortable and annoying almost.
This was going to be quick and it's now not going to be quick. First of all, let's talk about that match, the Intercontinental Belt. I think Riddle is going to get his chest caved in by Gunther. Gunther is going to whoop that ass. Gunther is going to wipe the floor, and Riddle is going to be in pieces by the end of it.
Yeah, he's going to get his titty slapped by Gunther hard.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's going to bleed. Anyway, Gunther wins, right? Yep.
Okay. Gunther wins.
There's a lot of rumors about Randy swirling. That Randy is back. That Randy is healthy. That he has rehabbed and he is ready to return.
That's exciting.
So there's also been a lot of talk about surprise people coming back at Money in the Bank. I think, Riddle getting beaten to hell by Gunther and then probably getting beaten to hell even more after the match. I can just, I hear voices in my head. And Randy Orton's music hits and he comes down the ramp and he RKO's da-ring, da-da, like leading to
voices in my head. Oh man, I'm just visualizing it right now.
And Randy Orton starts a program with Gunther heading into SummerSlam.
Oh, I love Randy.
What a way to come back for him, right? That'd be amazing.
That'd be elite.
So, anyway, all right, I gotta scroll up. Okay, real quick, AEW Dynamite got Vinced, and obviously Vince didn't book the show, and there were some mitigating circumstances. There's been illness that's been kind of going through the AEW roster, and they're in Canada, so it's a little bit more restrictive on people coming to work when they have, any kind of slight fever, which is probably a good thing. The card that they announced was not really what happened on the show. There was a thrown together trios match. Ruby Soho beat up a local, and it seemed very all over the place in terms of coherent thoughts. Wasn't the easiest watch. It was very much like trying to just, make something out of what they had available that night.
Yuck. Along those lines, my stock's falling was also a show getting vinced, or two, I guess. I heard Raw got vinced too, but I don't know exactly what changed.
Raw got good vinced.
Raw got good vinced. But SmackDown got vinced, and it was frustrating for me, as somebody who, this is a lot for me, as somebody who, often is like, Lacey needs more of a chance. Raw! Yeah, just not the right place, right? Not the right time or place. I just was kind of annoyed and frustrated that they had advertised and promoted and done all that work to get the Bayley versus Shotzi match. And, people bought tickets to go there. Some of them maybe bought tickets to see that match. And then they just scrapped the match with no mention of anything. That's absurd.
They just acted like it never existed.
Yeah, just acted like you'd never, that was a memorable part of that episode. I was going into it. And then to just scrap it was jarring. And then also to throw in the goddamn Charlotte versus Lacey match? Come on. I get that the Charlotte versus Lacey match wasn't really about Charlotte versus Lacey. It was about, the ending with Asuka. Yeah. Just still weird to throw it on there. I don't know. Felt weird. Didn't feel... Ugh.
Did you like Asuka after she kicked Charlotte in the head, standing up and going with the salute?
The salute was so good. I love Asuka so much. She's great. Her energy is impeccable.
Very much so. Lacey Evans also ended up in the news, not by her own doing this week again, because Sergeant Slaughter was on a podcast talking about how no one called him to see if Lacey could have the Cobra Clutch. And he even talked about how he had left WWE, and when he came back, someone else was using it. And so he had to adapt it to the Camel Clutch that he had talked to somebody else and said, can I use this? So he's like, at the end of the day, is it the biggest thing in the world? No, but back in my day, this business was more about respect, especially when it came to people's moves and their gimmicks. And I feel like she's just taking my gimmick and my moves. So, yeah.
I got mixed feelings about it. One of them was in the military, one of them wasn't. And moves are used by everybody now. Super kicks are everywhere. Shawn Michaels really popularized that, but I don't think Jimmy and Jey Uso and the Young Bucks and all them asked Shawn Michaels to use that move. So
I think a super kick is a little different than, a submission finisher, though.
Fair. Very fair. Very fair.
It can be a similar thing, but you can name it something different.
That's true. Good point.
Roman has his guillotine, and it's not. It's just a front-sided headlock. It's not Roman's move. But if someone else started using the guillotine and calling it the guillotine, it's the same thing. It's what are you doing? It's just weird,
I didn't think of it that way. Good point.
Okay, another one. Austin Theory, his A-Town Down. It's essentially the GTS.
Mm-hmm.
But he calls it something different, and it's a little bit different the way he executes it. And that's fine. He doesn't... Yeah. I don't like Austin Theory, but I wouldn't make him get on the phone with CM Punk. That would be... probably end up fighting in the back. So, like, there's ways to get around this. Like, Lacey Evans will cut a promo and be like, and I'm going to get her in my Cobra clutch. And it's like, I don't know. It's just weird to me that, you would just take the name and the move and just act like it's yours. I don't know.
It's been strange. I agree.
Anyway, Lacey Evans in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Final stock falling. No women's title matches at the Premium Live event. It's getting we talk about this a lot, but since, WrestleMania, there hasn't really been any real builds for the women's matches. And again, we don't even have a singles women's match on this Premium Live event. Now, I will say this with a little caveat that we haven't seen SmackDown this week yet, and that could change. I don't think that title is going to change on SmackDown. I do not think that Asuka is going to lose to Charlotte, and I could see there being some kind of interference from Bianca Belair and this becoming a triple threat for the pay-per-view.
Yep.
So, big caveat. But I am a little surprised that there isn't a women's singles match. There's only one, well, I guess the women's ladder match. So there's 2 women's matches on the card, but I think that there could be room for one singles match at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be great if they added something, but big agree with it being stocks down for not having anything yet. Like, come on, dog. Give us something in there.
We'll know by about 5 o'clock tomorrow if you're on Twitter. So, yeah, Demetri, if you don't want spoiled for SmackDown, it's filming at 3 p.m. Eastern because that's 8 o'clock local.
Right.
So it's going to air at 8 Eastern, but,
I'll be off Twitter.
There's definitely going to be people talking about what happens, and I'll be reading it all. Anything else for this? Did we miss anything?
No, actually, I was just running through. We actually hit everything during the show. So we are golden, brother.
It's almost like we're professionals. Any final thoughts on Money in the Bank?
No, I'm just really excited for it. It's a really good looking card, and I'm excited for it. And I hope they do add a women's title match. That would be nice to see.
I completely agree with you. I think Money in the Bank, since I've gotten back into wrestling, I think it's one of my favorite pay-per-views. It's just so interesting, and it's so different than anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm gonna really enjoy having an afternoon of wrestling and then a free night afterwards. So anyway, thank you everybody for listening. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Let Me Pod To You. We're also on the YouTubes. There's going to be some new content coming from Demetri over there. You can follow him on Twitter and maybe get some more info on that at Demetri Talks. You can find me at We Hate Jacob. That's hate with an 8 if you want. Please give us a review on your chosen podcast platform. We are on every major network. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy your beans on toast.